Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. This is Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me in another card making video. Today, I'm working on a card that has a vellum overlay and an overall clean and simple design, and the sentiment says, "Praying for you." I'm working with a stamp set from Stampin' Up called Thoughts and Prayers. It's a really big stamp set, and I'm using the image of the tree and the sentiment that is small that says "Praying for you." This is going to be a standard sized card. It will measure 5.5 by 4.25. It's going to be top folding, so the 5.5 will be the height and 4.25 will be the width. There is a piece of contrasting color cardstock, a little bit smaller. I believe it's a 1/16 of an inch smaller than the card base itself. And then also a piece of designer series paper from Serene Scenery that's a little bit smaller as well. That way the layers are able to show through and kind of frame the overall image. On the very top of the card, I am using a piece of vellum that is going to allow a subtle bit of the color to come through from underneath on the designer paper. The way that I am choosing to attach the vellum to the card is I'm creating a hinge on the top and the bottom by scoring and folding that vellum. And the reason I'm doing this is because whenever vellum is used with adhesive, the adhesive shows through significantly. My sentiment is going to be heat embossed directly onto the vellum using copper embossing powder. I used an anti-static bag on my vellum and then used Versamark ink, which is the sticky ink that holds the embossing powder in place, and copper embossing powder from Stampin' Up. I will use my heat gun on high to set the embossing, and then I will be careful to let it dry. It doesn't take long, but one thing I have noticed with metallic embossing powder is that it is still impressionable while it is still warm. So I give myself enough time to make sure that it is nice and clean. Nice and dry. So once that is done, then I will create this hinge effect. The way that I initially got it started was on my Stampin' Trimmer. The Stampin' Up's paper trimmer has a score blade as well as a cutting blade. For me, the score board is a wonderful tool, but my Stampin' Trimmer, being able to score, is a go-to for me. There's less equipment in my stamping space, and that allows me to be able to organize things a little better. I'm using snail to attach the designer paper and the vellum together. The adhesive is not going to show through on the front of the card, so I don't have to worry about exactly what adhesive I use and where I'm placing it. After I get all of the vellum secure, and after I secure the this new unit down to the card base, then I will finish off the card by using a piece of baker's twine that I had left over from a project that was a paper pumpkin. I think it was probably the August kit. They included some really nice baker's twine in early espresso. It can't be purchased, but it's a really nice color and it complements this card. The reason I used a piece of contrasting color baker's twine is I wanted it to be a card that was appealing to a guy or a gal, and just the sentiment being "praying for you" is very simple, and the ribbon twine that goes around the card secured down at the tree image. And you'll be able to see that finished card coming up at the end of this video. Once everything's put together, then this is a very simple card that can be duplicated. You could do many, and it's a very, very quick card to make. Thank you guys for coming and watching of another video and giving an opportunity for us to make it together. If you haven't done so yet, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in the next video.